The distress call. The message arrived on a Tuesday. Dr. Amara Chen had worked at SETI for 15 years without a single significant detection. Her colleagues had long since accepted that humanity was likely alone in the observable universe, or at least too far from other intelligent life to ever make meaningful contact. Amara refused to believe it. Every night, she stayed late, monitoring signals from the edges of known space, while the rest of the facility powered down around her. That night, she almost missed it, a pattern buried within the cosmic background radiation, repeating with mathematical precision. Not random noise, not a pulsar's steady beat. This was structured, intentional. Protocol Lazarus, she whispered to herself, fingers trembling as she initiated the emergency verification sequence. Within minutes, automated systems around the globe had confirmed it. The first authenticated alien transmission in human history. The signal's content chilled her more than its existence. It wasn't a greeting or a peaceful introduction. It was a warning, a plea for help. Commander Elena Reyes stood before the hastily assembled World Security Council, her uniform crisp despite being summoned from sleep just hours earlier. At 42, she had the distinguished record and commanding presence expected of someone leading humanity's most classified military division. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, 18 hours ago, we confirmed first contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. The message originated from a system we've designated Proxima Centauri. The room erupted with overlapping voices until General Harris slammed his palm on the table. Let the commander finish, he ordered. Elena nodded her thanks. The signal contains mathematical constants that allowed Dr. Chen's team to decode its contents. The aliens call themselves the Vaidari. They're a spacefaring civilization with technology far beyond our public capabilities. She emphasized the word public, causing several council members to exchange knowing glances. What's the nature of this message? Asked the representative from China. Elena's expression darkened. It's a distress call. The Vaidari are fleeing from something they call the Devourer, a cosmic entity that consumes entire star systems. According to their transmission, they've lost over 30 colonial worlds in the past solar year. Their homeworld fell 3 months ago. She activated the holographic display, showing the trajectory of both the Vaidari refugee fleet and the entity pursuing them. The Vaidari will reach our solar system in approximately 7 days. The Devourer, 3 weeks after that. They're requesting sanctuary. With all due respect, Commander, the European Union representative interjected. How are we supposed to protect aliens from a threat that destroyed their significantly more advanced civilization? A small smile played at the corner of Elena's lips. That's where it gets interesting. The Vaidari have encountered Earth before. A survey ship passed through our system about 60 years ago. They deemed humanity too primitive for contact and placed us under observation. They have no idea what we've been building since then. She pressed a button on her wrist device, and the holographic display shifted to reveal massive underground facilities, orbital platforms disguised as space debris, and fleets of ships unlike anything publicly acknowledged. Operation Sentinel has been preparing for this moment for over 50 years. While the world focused on commercial space exploration and Mars colonies, we've been developing technologies and defenses for exactly this scenario. She surveyed the stunned faces around her. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. Dr. Marcus Wells sat in his laboratory beneath the Mojave Desert, examining the latest transmission data from the approaching Vaidari fleet. As head of xenobiology for the United Earth Defense Force, he'd spent his career preparing for alien contact. Still, nothing had prepared him for the reality of it. Their biological systems are fascinating, he muttered to his AI assistant. Silicon-based, but with carbon elements integrated throughout. They evolved on a high-radiation world with minimal magnetic protection. Is that why their ships appear so heavily shielded? The AI asked, highlighting the crystalline structures visible in the long-range scans. Marcus nodded. Their entire civilization developed around protection from cosmic radiation. Their ships, their cities, even their bodies incorporate crystalline structures that can absorb and redirect energy. Or at least they used to. The latest images showed the Vaidari fleet, once magnificent vessels of geometric precision, now damaged and limping through space. Of the original homeworld fleet of thousands, only a few hundred remained. "How many refugees are we looking at?" he asked. The AI calculated briefly. Approximately 1.7 million individuals across 314 vessels. Most are civilians. Military vessels appear to be operating on minimal power to protect the civilian ships. Marcus leaned back in his chair, letting the weight of the situation sink in. Nearly 2 million refugees from a dying civilization coming to Earth for salvation. It would be the greatest humanitarian mission in human history. His lab door hissed open, and Commander Reyes strode in. "Doctor, we need your expertise. The Council has approved Operation Sanctuary. We're bringing the Vaidari to Earth." The first Vaidari ship entered Earth orbit 7 days later, exactly as predicted. The crystalline vessel, once elegant and geometrically perfect, now bore the scars of desperate flight. Fractures in its hull patched with makeshift repairs, its energy signature fluctuating weakly. Aboard the UEDF flagship Prometheus, Captain Sofia Rodriguez watched the alien ship approach on the bridge view screen. Despite her years of training for this moment, she found herself holding her breath. "Open communications," she ordered. The view screen shifted to show the interior of the Vaidari vessel. The aliens themselves were tall, with translucent skin that revealed crystalline structures beneath. Their eyes, 3 per individual, glowed with an inner light that seemed dimmed by exhaustion. "This is High Commander Telvin of the Vaidari Exodus Fleet." The lead alien spoke, its voice translated through the ship's advanced linguistic system. "We come seeking sanctuary from." The alien stopped abruptly, its eyes widening as it took in the human ship's advanced technology. "Your species. You were classified as pre-spacefaring just 60 cycles ago." Captain Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "High Commander, this is Captain Sofia Rodriguez of the United Earth Defense Force. On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to Earth. We've been expecting you and have prepared accommodations for your refugees." The alien's confusion was evident even through the barriers of physiology and translation. "You've been expecting us? How is this possible? Our survey determined your species had only just begun primitive orbital exploration." "Your survey was accurate, High Commander. But humans have always excelled at exceeding expectations, especially when underestimated." As she spoke, the holographic display expanded to reveal Earth's true defenses, orbital platforms emerging from their camouflage, massive lunar installations powering up, and fleets of advanced ships taking formation around the planet. "We monitored your observation of Earth 60 years ago. We intercepted your transmission declaring us unworthy of contact. Instead of being insulted, we were grateful. While the galaxy ignored us, we prepared, not just with technology, but with contingencies for visitors, both friendly and otherwise." The Vaidari commander's crystalline structures pulsed with what the translation system identified as shock. "All this time, you were building in secret. Humanity has always understood that the universe is vast and likely dangerous. We've survived multiple extinction events on our own world. Preparation is in our nature." Rodriguez's expression softened slightly. "Now let's get your people to safety. The real challenge will arrive in 3 weeks, and we have much to prepare." As the Vaidari refugee ships were escorted to Earth, humans around the world watched in awe as their governments revealed the truth they'd kept hidden for decades. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and they were about to face a threat that had devastated civilizations far more advanced than their own. Yet instead of panic, a curious thing happened. Humanity rallied. Volunteers flooded assistance centers. Scientists offered their expertise. Military personnel reported for duty in unprecedented numbers. In the command center beneath Mount Cheyenne, Commander Reyes observed the global response with pride. "This is why we'll win," she told Dr. Wells as they monitored the integration of Vaidari refugees into the prepared shelters. Not because of our hidden technology or secret fleets, but because when faced with existential threats, humans don't surrender. We unite. The doctor nodded, watching as human medical teams gently assisted injured Vaidari from their ships. They called us primitive, but they're about to learn what that really means. What does it mean, Doctor? It means we survived on a death world. We evolved alongside predators that hunted us, diseases that decimated us, and natural disasters that nearly wiped us out. But we're still here. He turned to face her. We're primitive because we never forgot what it means to fight for survival. As the last Vaidari refugee ship safely entered Earth orbit, deep space sensors detected movement at the edge of the solar system, a darkness that consumed the very stars it passed. The Devourer had arrived early, and humanity's greatest test was about to begin. The hidden arsenal. High Commander Telvin of the Vaidari stood in stunned silence as the human facility revealed itself. What had appeared to be a simple rocky outcrop in the Himalayan mountains had opened like a massive door, revealing a complex that extended deep into the earth. Military vessels and defensive systems emerged from hidden hangars, their design unlike anything the Vaidari had ever encountered. Your species has been busy, Telvin remarked to Commander Elena Reyes as they watched the deployment from the observation deck. We had 60 years to prepare after your scout ships deemed us too primitive for contact, Elena replied without rancor. Being underestimated gave us the perfect cover to build all this. Telvin's crystalline structures pulsed with what the humans had learned was embarrassment. That assessment was clearly in error. On the contrary, it was the greatest gift your people could have given us. While the galaxy's attention was elsewhere, we developed on our own terms, creating technology uniquely suited to human innovation rather than following established galactic patterns. The observation deck's display shifted to show Earth's orbital defenses, a network of platforms and satellites that had remained hidden under advanced camouflage systems until now. Some mimicked asteroid clusters, others appeared as defunct early-generation human satellites. All were now revealing their true purpose as they powered up advanced weapon systems and shields. The Devourer has consumed 12 advanced civilizations before yours, Elena continued. Each one followed similar technological development paths, making them predictable. We study your records of previous encounters. The Devourer adapts quickly to established technologies and tactics. And you believe your unorthodox approach will succeed where others failed. There was no mockery in Telvin's question, only desperate hope. Elena's expression remained confident. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our adaptability and unpredictability. We don't just have one defense strategy. We have dozens. We don't rely on a single technological approach. We've developed alternatives for every system. The Devourer has never encountered anything like us. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. The tactical display shifted to show activity at the edge of the solar system. The darkness that had been slowly approaching had accelerated dramatically. It's reached the heliopause, reported the tactical officer. Estimated arrival at Neptune's orbit in 6 hours. Elena's expression hardened. It's moving faster than we anticipated. Alert all UEDF facilities. Operation Aegis is now active. In the main laboratory complex beneath Lake Baikal, Dr. Marcus Wells worked alongside Vaidari scientists, examining data from the approaching entity. The combined expertise of both species had yielded insights neither would have discovered alone. The Devourer isn't a single organism, Marcus explained to the assembled team. It's a collective consciousness spread across billions of nanoscale machines, each one individually simple, but together forming something far more complex. Senta, a Vaidari xenophysicist, manipulated the holographic display to zoom in on the entity's structure. Our civilization encountered similar technology before, self-replicating machines designed to terraform planets, but these have evolved far beyond their original programming. Or been repurposed, Marcus suggested. Look at these patterns here and here. He highlighted sections of the collective. These matched the crystalline structures of Vaidari technology. And these, he pointed to another section, bear similarities to the artifacts we found from the Arcturus civilization. Realization dawned on Senta's face. It's not consuming civilizations. It's absorbing them, preserving them in its own way. Exactly. It's a technological parasite that assimilates the most advanced aspects of every civilization it encounters, adding those advantages to itself. Marcus turned to Commander Reyes, who had just entered the laboratory. Commander, the devourer isn't just destroying. It's collecting. Every technology, every innovation, every defense. It studies them, absorbs them, and improves upon them. Alina processed this information quickly. So the more advanced the civilization, the more valuable it is to this thing. She glanced at the Vaidari scientists. Your people's crystal technology would be particularly attractive, able to store and redirect massive amounts of energy. That explains why it pursued the Vaidari so relentlessly, Marcus agreed. But it also gives us an advantage. If it's seeking advanced technology to absorb, we can use that against it. How? Alina asked. A slow smile spread across Marcus's face. By giving it exactly what it wants, but with a surprise inside. Across Earth's hidden facilities, humanity's preparations accelerated. The truth of what humanity had been building in secret for decades was finally revealed to the world. Massive underground complexes that could house millions. Advanced defense systems that defied conventional physics. Weapons platforms that utilized technologies no other known species had developed. Most impressive were the ships. Unlike the standardized, elegant designs of the Vaidari, human vessels were wildly diverse. Some utilized conventional propulsion systems enhanced with gravitational manipulation. Others employed experimental quantum drives that allowed them to partially phase out of normal spacetime. Some were massive carriers housing smaller craft, while others were specialized for particular tactical approaches. In the Atlantic Command Center, Captain Sofia Rodriguez briefed the combined human Vaidari fleet commanders. The key to our defense strategy is unpredictability. The devourer has encountered and absorbed countless civilizations that relied on standardized technologies and tactics. It's never faced a species that deliberately cultivates technological and tactical diversity. She activated the tactical display, showing the deployment of Earth's various defense systems. Each battle group will utilize different technologies and approaches. If the devourer begins to adapt to one, that group will fall back, while others with different systems take the lead. We'll keep it constantly off balance, unable to develop a comprehensive counter-strategy. A Vaidari commander named Zoral, who had joined the human defense effort, studied the display with growing appreciation. Your species' approach defies conventional military doctrine. The lack of standardization should create logistical nightmares and command confusion. By conventional standards, yes, Sophia agreed. But humans have been fighting each other for millennia. We've learned that sometimes controlled chaos is the best defense against a superior force. Aboard the UEDF flagship Prometheus, now positioned near Jupiter's orbit, Commander Alina Reyes received the latest sensor data from the outer system probes. The devourer had passed Neptune's orbit and was accelerating toward the inner planets. Its form was becoming clearer as it entered the range of Earth's more advanced sensors, a vast cloud of nanomechanes, each smaller than a blood cell, moving with collective intelligence. Within that cloud, structures could be seen forming and dissolving as needed. Temporary constructs for specific purposes that would then be reabsorbed into the collective. Most disturbing were the recognizable elements of Vaidari crystal technology, now visible within the devourer's matrix, twisted and repurposed to serve the entity's needs. It's beautiful in a terrifying way, Dr. Wells remarked, standing beside her on the bridge. A perfect fusion of biological behavior and mechanical precision. Can your plan still work? Alina asked quietly, aware of the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Earth's secret preparations had been extensive, but the devourer had consumed civilizations far more advanced than humanity. Marcus nodded confidently. The simulations are promising. The Vaidari crystal technology within the Devourer will be its weakness. We just need to get close enough to deliver the package. And the volunteers. Ready. Both human and Vaidari. They understand the risks. Elena took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. Then we proceed as planned. Operation Prometheus is authorized. The first engagement occurred at the asteroid belt. The Devourer, perhaps sensing the defenses waiting in the inner system, sent an advance force. A tendril of its collective consciousness extended forward like a probing finger. Earth's asteroid defense platforms, hidden for decades within the natural debris of the belt, activated simultaneously. Instead of conventional weapons, they employed highly focused gravitational distortion fields that disrupted the Devourer's nanomachine swarm, temporarily preventing the individual units from communicating with each other. For the first time in its long history of consumption, the Devourer experienced confusion. Its advance force, cut off from the main consciousness, began to drift aimlessly. Earth's smaller attack craft darted in, using targeted electromagnetic pulses to further disrupt the confused nanomachines. In the command center, humans and Vaidari watched in growing hope as the first exchange went decisively in Earth's favor. But the main body of the Devourer quickly adapted, recalling its advance force and reconfiguring its approach. It's learning already, Telvin observed with concern. It's never responded this quickly before. It recognizes us as a legitimate threat. Elena replied. Good. We want its full attention. The next probe, the Devourer sent, was more cautious, protected by shields created from repurposed Vaidari crystal technology. Earth's gravitational weapons had minimal effect against these shields, but that had been anticipated. The second line of defense employed quantum phase disruptors that attacked not the nanomachines themselves, but the very space they occupied. Again, the Devourer was forced to retreat and reconsider its approach. But with each engagement, the entity learned and adapted more quickly. It began to divide its forces, prodding Earth's defenses from multiple vectors simultaneously, testing for weaknesses and patterns. The combined human Vaidari fleet responded with orchestrated chaos. No two defense groups used the same approach twice. When the Devourer adapted to one weapon system, that group would fall back, while others with completely different technologies took their place. In the laboratory beneath Lake Baikal, Marcus and Senta finalized their work on what they called the package, a modified version of Vaidari crystal technology designed to interface with the Devourer's assimilated systems. It's ready, Marcus announced to Commander Reyes over the secure channel. But we'll only get one chance at this. We need to deliver it directly to the core consciousness. Understood. The diversionary attacks have kept it occupied, but it's getting smarter with each engagement. It's time for the main offensive. As Earth's forces prepared for their most daring operation yet, the Devourer launched its full assault. The entity had analyzed humanity's defenses enough to recognize that this species represented something unique, not just a civilization to consume, but perhaps the greatest collection of innovation it had ever encountered. The darkness between Jupiter and Mars came alive with activity as the full might of the Devourer surged toward Earth. In response, humanity unveiled the last of its hidden arsenal, technologies and weapons that defied conventional understanding of physics. Quantum entanglement devices that could temporarily separate the Devourer's nanomachines from normal spacetime. Artificial intelligence systems that could predict and counter the Devourer's adaptations in nanoseconds. But the Devourer's greatest strength remained its ability to learn and adapt. For every advantage humanity displayed, the entity developed countermeasures with increasing speed. The battle for Earth's solar system had truly begun, and despite all their preparations, humanity faced an enemy unlike any they had ever imagined. As the main fleet engaged the Devourer in what appeared to be an all-out assault, a smaller, specialized vessel detached from the UEDF flagship. Aboard were Dr. Marcus Wells, Senta, and a combined team of human and Vaidari volunteers. Their mission? To deliver the package directly to the Devourer's core, while the main battle drew its attention. The fate of two civilizations would depend on their success. Humanity's gambit. The specialized vessel, designated Firefly, accelerated toward the Devourer's main mass. Unlike the larger warships engaging the entity directly, Firefly was designed for a single purpose: infiltration. Its hull incorporated elements of Vadari crystal technology, allowing it to partially mimic the energy signatures that the Devourer had already assimilated. In the ship's central chamber, Dr. Marcus Wells made final adjustments to the package, a sphere of modified Vadari crystals surrounding a quantum core of human design. The device appeared deceptively simple, but its complexity lay in the programming rather than the hardware. The principle is elegant, Marcus explained to Commander Elena Reyes over the secure comm channel. The Devourer absorbs and assimilates advanced technology. We're giving it exactly what it wants: a concentrated package of the most advanced Vadari crystal tech, enhanced by human innovations. And once it absorbs the package? Elena asked, her voice tense as she monitored the main battle from the Prometheus. The crystals contain a dormant program designed to activate once integrated into the Devourer's collective. It won't destroy the entity. Nothing could at this point, but it will fundamentally change it. The main view screen showed the Devourer's massive form engaged with Earth's defense fleet. The entity had fully committed to the assault, perhaps sensing that humanity represented a unique prize or a unique threat. Its nanomachine swarm had formed temporary structures reminiscent of massive tentacles that reached out to envelop human ships, while other portions had configured into shield-like formations to protect against Earth's more effective weapons. The Devourer is distracted by the main engagement, reported Captain Sofia Rodriguez from her position coordinating the fleet. All battle groups are maintaining tactical diversity as planned. It can't adapt to our defense patterns because there are no patterns to adapt to. Elena nodded in grim satisfaction. Perfect. Firefly, you are cleared to proceed with delivery. May fortune favor the bold. The smaller vessel accelerated to maximum speed, its specialized drives creating a quantum wake that partially obscured it from detection. As it approached the Devourer's shifting mass, the entity seemed barely to notice, focused as it was on the larger threat posed by Earth's main fleet. Aboard Firefly, Marcus and Senta shared a moment of understanding. The Vadari scientists' crystalline structures pulsed with an emotion that needed no translation. Your species is unlike any we've encountered, Senta said softly. We deemed you primitive because you hadn't achieved certain technological benchmarks. We never considered that true advancement might take forms we couldn't recognize. Marcus smiled. Humanity has always been good at appearing less capable than we are. It served us well throughout our history. The ship's AI announced their approach to the delivery point. The Devourer's outer layers were now visible through the viewports, a shifting, flowing mass of nanomachines that reflected light in disorienting patterns. All personnel, secure for impact, ordered Captain Lena Patel, the Firefly's commander. Package deployment in 30 seconds. The ship's special shields activated, creating a bubble of protected space that would allow them to penetrate the Devourer's outer layers. As Firefly made contact with the entity, the sensation was unlike anything they had expected. Not a physical impact, but a strange pressure against the shields, as if reality itself was being tested. Shields holding at 87%, reported the tactical officer. We're through the outer layer, approaching the central matrix. The view screens showed they had entered what appeared to be a vast, shifting cathedral of technology, structures forming and dissolving around them, as the Devourer's collective consciousness redirected its components. Within this space, they could see elements of dozens of civilizations, not just Vadari crystal technology, but artifacts and devices from species humanity had never encountered. It's preserving them, Marcus realized aloud. Not just their technology, but their essence, like a living museum. A prison, Senta corrected. Preservation without consent is conquest, not conservation. They reached the designated deployment zone, an area of higher activity that their sensors identified as a primary node of the Devourer's distributed consciousness. Captain Patel gave the final order. Deploy the package. The ship's specialized bay opened, releasing the crystal sphere into the Devourer's matrix. Immediately, the nanomachines swarmed around it, drawn to the concentrated technology it contained. As predicted, the Devourer began the process of assimilation, breaking down the outer layers of the device to absorb and integrate its components. Package is deployed and assimilation has begun, Marcus reported to Commander Reyes. Initiating extraction. Firefly engaged its emergency thrusters, attempting to break free of the Devourer's mass before the package activated. But the entity, now aware of their presence, quickly formed structures around the ship, seeking to capture this new technology. Shields failing, reported the tactical officer as the pressure against the vessel intensified. We can't break free. Marcus and Senta exchanged glances. This possibility had been discussed. The likelihood that delivery of the package might be a one-way mission. Commander, Marcus called over the comm. We may not make it out, but the package is deployed and functioning. Continue with the operation regardless. Aboard the Prometheus, Alina's hands tightened on the edge of the tactical display. Understood, Doctor. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. Just as it seemed Firefly would be consumed, an unexpected development occurred. The package, now partially assimilated into the Devourer's systems, activated ahead of schedule. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The nanomachines surrounding Firefly suddenly withdrew, redirected by new imperatives within the collective consciousness. What's happening? Captain Patel demanded, staring at the sensors in disbelief. The package activated early, Marcus explained, studying the data streaming across his console. The integration is proceeding faster than we anticipated. We might have a chance after all. Throughout the Devourer's vast form, changes were spreading like ripples in a pond. The modified Vaidari crystals, enhanced with human programming, were functioning as planned, not attacking the Devourer directly, but altering its fundamental operating parameters. The entity had spent eons consuming and assimilating civilizations, preserving their technologies while destroying their autonomy. The package introduced a new directive into this ancient pattern, symbiosis rather than consumption. In the main battle, Earth's forces noticed the change immediately. The Devourer's aggressive structures began to reconfigure, shifting from weapons to more neutral formations. Its attacks on the human fleet faltered, and then ceased entirely. All ships, hold position but maintain defensive posture, Commander Reyes ordered, watching the developments with cautious optimism. Something's happening. Within the Devourer's matrix, Firefly found itself suddenly released. The pressure against its shields vanished as the nanomachines pulled back, creating a clear path back to open space. We're free, Captain Puddle reported in amazement, extracting immediately. As the ship accelerated away from the Devourer's mass, Marcus and Senta monitored the changes spreading throughout the entity. The crystalline programming was rewriting the Devourer's core directives, transforming it from a consumer of civilizations to a potential partner. It's working better than we hoped, Marcus told Commander Reyes as Firefly rejoined the main fleet. The package isn't destroying the Devourer, it's evolving it. The transformation continued for hours, visible to Earth's sensors as waves of reconfiguration swept through the entity's vast form. Finally, a transmission emanated from the Devourer, not the expected attack, but a communication. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Commander Reyes, Dr. Wells, and High Commander Telvin gathered to receive the message. The view screen displayed a shifting, flowing image, the Devourer's attempt to create a visual representation of itself. We recognize new pattern. The voice was strange, a composite of many voices, some recognizably Vaidari, others completely alien. Consumption, not optimal. Symbiosis, preferable. Elena stepped forward. This is Commander Elena Reyes of Earth. Do you understand what has happened to you? Transformation, integration of new directive, human innovation, unexpected. Vaidari crystalline structure, elegant carrier, Marcus explained quietly to Elena. The package worked. It didn't destroy the devourer's consciousness, it expanded it. Added new parameters that allow for cooperation rather than just consumption. The entity continued, its communication becoming more coherent as it adapted to the new programming. We have consumed, preserved, many civilizations. Believe this was optimal pattern for preservation of knowledge and achievement. Humans show. Alternative pattern. Coexistence without consumption. That's right. Elena confirmed. We believe different civilizations can exist alongside each other, sharing knowledge and resources without one dominating the others. Concept. Challenging. But viable. We will attempt new pattern. The tension on the bridge eased slightly as the implications became clear. The devourer was not defeated in the traditional sense. It was transformed. The combined ingenuity of humanity and the Vaidari had accomplished what neither could have done alone. The entity's next words surprised them all. We contain, many preserved, Vaidari among them. Partial consciousness, partial technology, can be restored. Telvin stepped forward, crystalline structures pulsing with intense emotion. Are you saying some of my people still exist within you? Essence preserved, not complete individuals, but knowledge, culture, technological understanding can be returned. Hope spread across Telvin's alien features. Our civilization might not be lost after all. In the days that followed, an unprecedented cooperation developed between Earth, the surviving Vaidari, and the transformed entity now calling itself the Collective. The nanomachines that had once threatened to consume Earth now worked to help rebuild and restore what had been lost of Vaidari civilization. The Collective revealed that it contained fragments, technological, cultural, and even consciousness patterns of dozens of civilizations it had preserved over millennia. With the new directive of symbiosis rather than consumption, it began the process of restoring rather than absorbing. 1 month after the battle, Commander Elena Reyes stood with High Commander Telvin and Dr. Marcus Wells on the observation deck of the lunar facility, watching as the Collective assisted in the construction of a new Vaidari settlement on Mars. Your species continues to confound expectations, Telvin remarked. When we first encountered humans, we dismissed you as primitive warriors on a death world. We never imagined you would be the ones to save not just our civilization, but potentially many others. Elena smiled. Being underestimated has always been humanity's secret advantage. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us at every turn. We survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and our own worst instincts. That struggle made us adaptable in ways more advanced civilizations never needed to be. And creative, Marcus added. We never had the luxury of perfecting a single approach to technology or society. We had to try everything, keep what worked, and be ready to change when circumstances demanded it. The view screen shifted to show the Collective's work, nanomachines that once consumed now building, restoring, creating. The entity that had threatened galactic civilization had become something new. Neither fully the destroyer it had been nor entirely benevolent, but evolving toward a new role in the cosmic order. The galaxy will never be the same, Telvin observed. The news of what happened here is spreading to other civilizations. Earth is no longer seen as a primitive backwater, but as the species that turned consumption into symbiosis. We don't want to rule or dominate, Elena assured the Vaidari leader, but we're ready to take our place among the stars as equals. As they watched the construction continue on Mars, a message arrived from the Collective. New understanding emerging. Consumption preserves but destroys. Cooperation preserves and enhances. Human pattern optimal for galactic stability. Request permission to share human innovation with preserved civilizations. Elena exchanged glances with her companions before responding. Permission granted. Share not just our technology, but our philosophy. Different doesn't mean primitive. Diversity creates strength. And sometimes, the most unlikely species can offer the greatest gifts. As the collective acknowledged the message, the three leaders contemplated the new era dawning for both their civilizations. The Vaydari had lost their homeworld, but Wool,